Hi there, my name is Yolanda de Prado, and if you're watching this video, you likely just received your new Seint makeup. This video is I got my makeup, now what? Make sure you open it, check your label to make sure you received all the items that you ordered, take out all the crinkle paper to look for some of the smaller items such as the eyeshadows. Once you have your compact, this is the one I typically recommend. It's the size Compact 12 because it fits 12 rectangular tins. It's magnetic, or twice the amount of the square eyeshadows. I'm going to show you how I would set up my contact, but in the end it's very personal, so you do what you feel is best. Each one of these little tins come in a metal lid and then the actual makeup product. On the back, it'll say the name of your product. If you can't quite remember what you're supposed to use it for, feel free to shoot me a message. I open the top level of my compact and then I start opening the tins. You'll notice that one end of the lid is closed and the other one has an opening where you will simply slide out your makeup. I recommend you hold it with your thumb and forefinger, gently push with your thumb, and the makeup will slide right out. Take the lid off. I like to save at least one or two because they come in handy later on when applying the makeup. Once I've opened all of my tins up and figured out what colors they are, which one's my contour, which one's my bronzer, and so forth, I'm going to start organizing. Personally, I use 3 different colors. I use a brightener, I use a bridge color, and I use a darker color for concealer. I put them in the order I use them, so either darkest, lightest, middle, or I like to keep them in color coordinated way in case they're quite similar, like for example my main shade and my brightening shade. Here's one way you can use the lids. If I want to switch this color out because I got more tan or more pale depending on the season, I can simply take the lid and shimmy it in between, lifting it out, therefore preventing me from sticking my fingers and ruining my creams. I have a contour, I have a bronzer, and I have an illuminator. Now I have all my creams beautifully set up on the top layer of my compact. On the bottom layer, I can add my powders, such as my Vanilla Dust setting powder. I can apply my eyeshadows. Note that the squares aren't perfectly square, so if one of them doesn't quite fit in, simply try turning it 180 degrees and it should pop right in. In addition to having my powders in this one, you'll notice that I'm missing my lip and cheeks. So I'm gonna add 3 lip and cheek shades into my magnetic compact as well. Now when I use my eyeshadow, I like to tilt my compact this way so that when I apply my shades with a brush, the loose powder will fall out and not into my creams. If you have any questions about the colors, one that maybe you don't like, you want to swap out, don't forget to reach out. But that's as simple as that. Some troubleshooting. So the cream-based makeup is a little bit different from your traditional powders and liquid foundations. Both liquid and powder foundations tend to dry off your skin. This means that your skin is producing extra oils on a daily basis to compensate for the drying effects that your old makeup might have caused you. The cream-based makeup doesn't dry out your skin, so you might notice that for the first couple weeks, your skin is oilier than normal. This will go away as your skin realizes it doesn't have to work so hard anymore, and you will notice the effects getting better. I do recommend that you try to use your setting powder minimally during this time so that your skin actually can get used to the cream that you now have on your face, but I promise the oiliness will go away. If you know you're going to be out or you want to control the shininess, you know you need your makeup to last extra long, Once your skin has acclimated, it is perfectly fine to use powder, but keep in mind, the more frequently you use it, your skin gets used to a different texture in your skin once again. You can use vanilla dust. It does have a little bit of color in it, so if your skin tone is darker, it may be too light for you. Any translucent setting powder works well. Setting powder is going to be colorless. So basically the powder is going to be white and it goes on translucent. The more product you put on, the more likely it is to crease. So troubleshooting tip number 2, try to apply your makeup in a single layer. So start with the contour and then add your highlight colors around it. This ensures that you have a light layer, and the lighter the layer, the longer it lasts and the better it looks. If you ever have trouble with coverage, maybe you have melasma spots or a birthmark, maybe you have rosacea, something like that, reach out to me and we can talk about it. There are some color correcting methods that we can try, or maybe the shade that I recommended for you just isn't quite enough. But a lot of times the main foundation should be enough to cover whatever troubled areas you might have. If not, let's chat about it. If the shade you are using is too bright, it'll enhance your pores, it won't stay on, it'll look splotchy. If the color is too dark, basically you can tell where your neck starts and your foundation ends. In those cases, it's simply a color matching issue that should be easily resolved with switching out your colors. Maybe you put on too much. Anytime it feels sticky, clammy, thick, doesn't look good, 99% of the time, the problem is you just put on too much. So the thing is to practice applying a little bit less, and the cheetah hack method is a great way. If you need a tutorial link for that one, just let me know. I have a full list of troubleshooting tips and tricks pinned to the top of my beauty group on Facebook called The Proud of Beauty. If you need help finding it, just let me know and I'd be more than happy to tag you. On a more detailed tutorial on how to specifically highlight and contour, take a look at my highlighting and contouring with Seint one-on-one tutorial in YouTube. All right, I have removed all my makeup with the exception of my eye makeup. If you were color matched by me, likelihood is I have recommended one of these 3 brushes, if not all of them for you. I prefer using the detail brush for contour because it's nice and detailed, makes that a snap. The other brush I would have recommended for you is the buff brush. This is our densest brush with a lot of bristles packed close together. It gives you a nice airbrushed look when applying your foundation. So if you're looking for full coverage, you want a denser brush for the cream. The blush and bronzer brush is one of my favorites. Likelihood is, however, you have a fluffy brush like this at home, this being far superior than anything personal I've owned to date. These bristles are packed more lightly than, say, the buff brush, which gives you a lighter makeup coverage, allowing your own skin to shine through a little bit. I also like applying my makeup with this brush when I was new because it prevented me from putting too much on and feeling clammy. It's also a large area, making makeup application very fast. It is, however, trickier to apply a detailed contour line with a brush that is this big. Regardless, you can do your entire makeup, all 4 steps. That includes highlight, contour, lip and cheek, and illuminator with just one brush. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It is only your personal preference and your personal budget, okay? If you need help figuring out which side to use for your highlight, contour, bronzing needs, just let me know. The only thing I recommend for the bronzer, you are going to want a fluffy brush like this. If you haven't gotten the bronzer or you want to, make sure to check out the collections section because if you get the brush and the bronzer together, there's at least $10 savings. Personally, I use 3 highlight shades. I like to call them Pop, Bridge, Camo, or Camo, Bridge, Pop. Concealer, main shade, pop of color, which is what we use to highlight or bring the center of face forward. I put on my makeup backwards. This way I ensure I get simple 1 layer of makeup, so I start with the contour. Apply the contour in the shape of a 3 on your face, along the hairline, down your forehead, in on the cheekbone, down the ear, and the jaw. Repeat the step on the other side. My nose is quite red. It's a different color from the rest of my face, so I apply nose contour later. Next, I'm going to go in with my brightening color. This is the brightest shade that only goes in the center of my face to bring this part forward, creating that three-dimensional look that we are going for between playing with shades and light. I do a dab between my brows, down the center of my nose, little Charlie Chaplin mustache, and a dab on my chin. My chin is quite red, and when I have some dark spots around my eyes, this is where I would do concealer. This is the detail brush that I applied my contour with. I just flip it over and I'm able to get these small details. The color I'm using right now to camouflage or conceal some of these darker areas is Mango. It changes throughout the year as my skin gets lighter or darker, depending on the season. And I would only apply it on areas where it's needed. The trick is with any makeup really, but with the cream it makes it very easy, is only put color where it belongs. There's no need to put on multiple layers of color. So now we have contour. We have our pop, we have our camo. Now we're going to bridge it all together by applying my main shade anywhere I don't already have makeup. If we have multiple colors here, we want to make sure to stipple. If I'm going around dragging the brush, I'm simply going to remove the makeup that's underneath here. But if I stipple, it's going to blend all three colors beautifully. And we'll go from there. I actually forgot to apply the pop color under my eyes. I bring some down the nose and a dab in the corner of my eye. Once I go into blend, it'll blend in a triangular or pizza slice shape without applying too much product. Remember, less is more when it comes to the cream. Now we've got it all on. I would take any brush and blend. I can take a beauty blender. I can take a bigger brush, whatever I want to do. This is the time to blend. Make sure to watch my other more detailed tutorial for advanced tips and tricks on how to contour different face shapes and how to highlight and contour with 3D foundation. Next, I would apply my lip and cheek. The hardest part about this is choosing a color. This shade is La Cienega, which is a sheer pinky gloss. And this shade is Pinky Promise. I almost feel like I should apply it with my pinky. I apply it right over my contour, slightly above it. I take a brush, I stipple the blush down and back while blending the contour up and back. Last, and step 4, is applying illuminator. This is a cream illuminator in the shade Rose Gold, which goes on the high points of my face. I also like to apply it down the bridge of my nose. And then Cupid's bow. Light brings stuff forward, dark moves things back. So anything you want to highlight, add some light to it. Anything you want to hide, bring some dark to it. The last step is to set the makeup. I like to do it in my oily zones. So between the brows, around the nostrils, chin, and then under my eyes, because this is where I make expressions. When you apply a powder on top of a cream, you are basically cementing your makeup into place. It becomes a different consistency. It doesn't move along with your face as much. So be careful to only apply a little bit to prevent creasing. If you bought the vanilla dust and the brush together, you will have saved approximately $10 getting the collection. You can use any brush to set your makeup. Just remember, try to keep your powder and your cream tools separate. There we have it. Easy peasy. Don't forget to clean your tools at least once a week. You can use soap and water. My favorite way to clean my tools is by using a brush cleaning spray such as Houdini by Seint, for example, but there are many different brands available out there. Make sure it has alcohol in it so that it actually kills the germs. Thank you so much for watching and hope this tutorial was helpful.